What are some other things you were mentioning outside of just the, running the business day to day that you're doing as well?
Oh, well, I started a nonprofit. It's Louder Legacy in honor of my grandfather who did so many amazing things in our hometown. He actually has a street named after him. He was an educator, he was a minister, a bishop, and so on and so forth. He passed away, and he had done a lot in his time here. He died young, 56, I believe. But he'd done so much. It's almost like when you come from that type of lineage, or when that's your heritage, you have to do something. So he always taught us that it's not about your birth date, and it's not even about your death date. It's just about what you do in the dash. And so I took that and I run with that. That's why I'm here. But yeah, it's a nonprofit that I've started to educate these students in the inner city on how to manage their finances, on trading and options, career information, several different things, but it's really heavily focused on teaching these kids how to trade stocks. And so starting a nonprofit up by itself is a whole different thing. I also have two daughters who are, they are the only reason that I kind of started the modeling thing for the most part, because I started doing this with my daughter, my oldest daughter, when she was 2. And so that's when I kind of noticed that I had a knack for the photo lane period, the photography lane period, whether it's directing or visuals, what have you. And they're still modeling. So I'm managing them, I'm momaging them. And so I've got several clients at this point.
So you got a lot going on. And
I do.
And your next, so I know you're wearing a lot of hats now, but if you had like the opportunity to pretty much hire someone right off the bat, what would be something you would, probably sink that money into to help grow your business on the Honeyy Entertainment side?
Let's see. Beneficial, the most beneficial thing for me probably right now would be to, I'm really looking for an account manager, basically. Someone that can manage my Twitter, take over my Twitter, my both my IG handles, my Facebook, my business Facebook. That is where I think I would benefit most, to hire somebody right this second, so that I can, and it's not even just mine, I need somebody that is going to manage my clients' accounts, because they got to get their social media presence up as well. So if I had another person that I could just hire on the spot, it would be for that.
So social media manager.
Yes.
Because and people are getting 50, 60,000 out of college just to do that right now. That's a huge industry that's not tapped into.
It is. It's huge.
And I'm sure with all the accounts, that's a lot of work and time. Yeah. In terms of like some things you've learned from just the social media, since you're working with so much, what are some things you look for when you're getting like that different type of content that you've seen really works in terms of building and growing that following, which is essential?
One thing that I'm big on is I spend a lot of my work is on the phone doing social media. So I spend a lot of time looking at the people in the industry that I'm in. I search for the most well-known or the most published photographers, and I make sure that I link in with them, I follow them, I speak to them, I get information from them, models, boutiques, anything that's in that line of whatever account that account is for. That's been helpful. Also, just, of course, everybody, the hashtagging the audience that I want watching and following, locations, things like that. Just really studying the algorithm almost of Instagram and those different social media sites.
Speaking of learning, who are some people that you look up to, that you aspire to be like, or maybe have taken some tips from in terms of just this type of business?
I've been waiting to answer this question. So there are some. Mona Scott was a big deal for me when she hit the scene with all her franchises. I'm 30, but I feel like I've lived a long life. And my younger years, I was myself modeling and doing things in that vein. And I believe that I got to live a reality TV show life before it was on TV. So to see her come in and bring that to everyone and shift the culture like it has, to see it on TV, and just the success she's had. I admire her mainly, though, because she's not one thing. You know, she's not just a manager. She's not just a producer. She's several things. And whoever links themselves to her, she seems to find a way to make a way for them. And so for that reason, I'm watching her all the time. I'm always trying to get her attention. I can't wait till the day, because I know there will be a day that comes where we get to either meet, work together, something. And I tell her, I've written her, you know, she's responded, but she knows I'm like, I can't wait till I'm there with you guys.
That's awesome. So you're in communication with
her as often as possible. I'm not shy. I'm not prideful. That's, like I said, networking is my thing. So.
Right. And it never hurts to reach out. What's the worst that can
No,
happen?
that's what I always say. Yeah. There's no pride in this game. It's not like, oh, I don't want to look, you know, I don't want to have too much followers or too many people that I'm following. You know, you do what works and what makes noise. And if that's tagging Mona Scott every day, that's just what it is. But she's a huge deal for me. My grandfather, of course. But I will go out on this limb and say, this is going to sound crazy, but I admire Cardi B. Listen, she lit a spark in me, kind of. And not because she's the most educated, you know, not even because she's so super, I think she could be a little more fine-tuned. But nonetheless, I admire her because somebody that I didn't go to college. You know, I didn't go to college. I've made several moves that society would not agree with in my upcoming. So it was nice and refreshing to see someone that had been ruled out and counted out, regardless of how she got to the level that she got to really watch that. Someone that really was someone that no one thought would ever be doing music. No one gave her that credit. Everybody said that she wasn't great at that. She's just a little girl from the stripper from New York. To see that happen in front of our faces, I think everybody should have watched that, because we don't see it. We hear about these stories. We hear Jay-Z was a drug dealer living in the projects, you know, we hear it, but we got to see that. And when I saw that, it just reminded me, like, if Cardi can do that,
yeah, literally
I can do anything I want.
And she's dangerous when people like are doubting her, I feel.
Yeah.
You know? She uses that as
it's
energy
fire.
And motivation.
Yeah.
So
sure. I can relate to her. She has a clip where she's like talking to DJ Self, and it's something I've saved in my phone. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna miss me when I'm on that other level. And people laughed at her when she said that. I watched it when it was live, and it was just like, everybody says that, but she meant that, and I mean that.
Yeah, and then she came with 2, Billboard hits.
Come on, and so much more. What can she not do? And like I said, and if Cardi can do it, we can all do it. I can definitely do it.
If you could leave one tip for an aspiring model, what would that be?
Let's say, this is what I say. Be ready for 200 no's before you get a solid yes.
Right, don't fear rejection.
Don't fear rejection. And if you give up at 198, you will never get there. But this is a saturated market. Mm-hmm. So if you're managing yourself, my tip is just keep going and don't stop. 200 no's for that one good yes.
Great tip. Beautiful.